everybody. I am Julie Matheny, speech pathologist and international board certified IBCLC lactation consultant. And today I want to talk about nipple healing. I know it's a really big topic. I know this week I talked a lot about lanolin and the new recommendations on lanolin, that it is the 2023 allergen of the year. Woohoo! And a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, I tried lanolin, I had an allergic reaction to lanolin, or other people that were like, I used lanolin and it worked. So today we're going to talk about different ways, different products, different remedies for nipple healing. Okay, so we're going to talk through a bunch of different stuff. This is not medical advice. This is common products that are used for nipple healing. I'll talk a little bit on some of them about the research behind them. Some have research, some don't. Some need more research. This again is one of those big topics that what works for one, I dropped this. What works for one person won't work for all people. Some of these recommendations you may have heard from another lactation consultant, you may have gotten in the hospital, and we're going to kind of break some of those down. The number one thing for healing your nipples is to figure out why. You should not be having pain and damage, cracked, bleeding, damaged nipples. So we want to figure out why. So the number one step for healing those nipples is try to get to the root of why you're having damage. Most commonly I see in the first week or two is from shallow latch. I see persistent damage from unidentified tongue tie, or maybe we know there's a tongue tie and we're going to be having it addressed. Followed in what I see in my practice commonly is using the wrong size pump flange or having the suction too high, and that damage can really be across the nipple, either at the base of the nipple or at the tip of the nipple. And we can also see it from infections, although I tend to rarely see thrush. I think I've seen thrush 3 times in my lactation career where it was true swabbed cultured thrush. Most infections, again, are being caused by shallow latch, unidentified tongue tie, wrong pump flange, etc., etc. But figure out the root. If you can't figure out the root, please work with an IBCLC lactation consultant to help you figure out why. But let's kind of jump in. So yes, as I mentioned, lanolin used to be a commonly recommended strategy for healing nipples. We know from a cellular level, nipples are like lips. They get dry, they get cracked, they can bleed, but we want to keep them moist. Moist wound healing is essential for nipples. So we used to say air dry those nipples out to help them heal, but in reality, new recommendations are we want to keep them moist. Now, lanolin is made from the wax secreted by sheep to help keep their wool waterproof in the rain. And so this is used to help keep moisture on the nipple. There has been some research done on lanolin, and most of the research has said that it really doesn't make a difference. It won't heal the nipple, but it can promote moist wound healing by keeping that tissue moist. Okay, but it doesn't actually heal. It's just a moisture barrier. So depending on the kind of damage you have to your nipple, this can work for some people to keep it moist. But again, 2023 allergen of the year, because this is made from the oil, the wax secreted by sheep wool. If you have a wool allergy, it can actually cause an allergic reaction in the breast or in the baby. So I don't recommend using this when there's nipple damage because there's too big of a risk of an allergic reaction, and it's not actually going to heal the nipple. It just promotes moist wound healing. Now, old school, this is a Medela nipple shell, and it has a back. This was meant to help keep a damaged nipple from sticking to a bra. This can be used in combination with other products to help keep moist wound healing, but traditionally it was used to air dry a nipple out while keeping it from sticking to nursing pads and clothing. So some people still in the hospital might be given a breast gel to help prevent rubbing while you're healing, but usually I would recommend using this in tandem with some other moist wound healing product. Now you are going to hear about all kinds of balms and butters and creams and booby balms and all this stuff. There's a lot of products on the market to promote nipple healing. We don't know necessarily all of the ingredients and the fillers that are in there. I, again, don't usually recommend a balm or a cream. If somebody is using one and they tell me that it's soothing, okay, great. Again, it might promote moist wound healing. There is evidence-based research on coconut oil and extra virgin olive oil to help promote moist wound healing. So I do recommend, if you have very mild nipple damage, you found out your root and you're trying to heal that nipple, put a little coconut oil on it, put a little extra virgin olive oil on your nipples. That actually does promote moist wound healing. One step up from that is Medi honey. Medi honey or Manuka honey is an irradiated honey. It does not have the bee botulism in it. It is a medical grade wound paste or gel that we've used on the floors for years for wounds. And there is good research that Medi honey can help heal a nipple. So for those with mild, moderate, severe damage, Medi honey is one of my favorite products to use to help heal a nipple. In the naturopathic world, you'll sometimes also hear about calendula. I looked that one up in the research textbook today, and it basically said that there's really no research that's conclusive, and you have to be careful about other products that might be found in some of the naturopaths or homeopathic remedies. But Medi honey, calendula, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil tend to be really good first line defenses, especially if you already have coconut oil in your cupboard. Those can be something easy to grab. Then there are your hydrogels. These are soothing, cooling gels. There's a lot of different brands out there that make these. They are basically an 80% water-based gel that you peel off and stick on your nipples to help soothe and comfort. Again, moist wound healing. They promote moist wound healing. Some of them can be reused. Some of them are single use, as in you use them and dispose of them. Biggest caution with those is bacterial growth. If you have some kind of damage, and you can grow bacteria on these, so you have to be really careful about reusing them. But these will help promote moist wound healing. They can be a really good option. You can throw them in a fridge, make a little nipple cold pack to help the nip out to help soothe it. Then we have things like silverettes, these 925 silver cups that are out there. Silverettes are the OG originals. We got Booby Bliss now by Lactation Hub. You will see knockoffs of these. I did a big long video on silverettes a little while ago, that you have to be careful that you are getting an authentic silver product. We use silver infused bandages in wound care in the adult side all the time. There's good research that 925 silver has antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal properties. So we're infusing silver into bandages. These cannot be used with any other product. It's like you either pick some of the other stuff or you pick silverettes. You could put a little breast milk in there to keep it from sticking, but you should not be using these with other products. The balms, the creams, the oils, it makes the 925 silver ineffective. As I talked about in that, these are expensive and not everybody will be able to have access to these, but these can be helpful. You should also not be wearing them all the time, 24/7, but these do work. And then last but not least is your Apno creams, the APNO, the triple nipple, all-purpose nipple cream. That is your prescription cream that has 3 components, antifungal, a steroid, and an antibiotic. I don't typically also recommend that because you're basically taking a stab at the dark of why you have an infection in your nipple. That's for like, we got severe issues going on with the nipple. It's cracked, bleeding, falling off, itchy, scabby, and we've tried everything else and it's a last resort. Usually, again, we're trying to figure out why did we get to this stage? And when it's that severe, my better recommendation is to go to a breast specialist and have it cultured and swabbed so we know what we're actually dealing with. So instead of throwing the kitchen sink at the nipple, which for some can work, I know there's a lot of you out there that have tried the Apno, the triple nipple cream, and are like, oh my gosh, it worked for me. And there's some out there that are like, yeah, I tried it, and it was like, instead of just throwing the kitchen sink at what's going on with your nipples, finding the right person to do a culture or swab to figure out what exactly is going on, what infection is that, so we can make sure to identify it and use the right product. So again, best recommendation when dealing with sore, cracked, damaged nipples, if you just have sore, tender nipples because it's early in your breastfeeding journey, soothing cooling gels, although you can put coconut oil on a nursing pad, chuck it in your refrigerator, and now you've got a nice little cooling pack that DIY yourself. Doing cold packs can help with tenderness. If you actually have some kind of damage, my favorite is going to coconut oil, olive oil, Medi Honey, and if you already have them, the Silverettes. For really bad, severe damage, Medi Honey, and figuring out why. And when it's really bad, we want to culture to make sure that we're getting you the right kind of care. And again, I don't recommend this. Just get rid of it. For most people, it's not going to promote the healing. And again, for me, it's just too high of a risk of a potential allergen. Those are my best strategies for nipple wound care. Again, if you are struggling with nipple pain damage, especially persistent, that you have tried everything and cannot figure it out, do make an appointment with me. I am available for virtual office and home visits if you're in the greater Los Angeles area. Virtual consultations are available around the world. And if you do need to be seen by somebody in person, we can obviously help get you connected to be able to find somebody local in your area. All right, everybody, now you know.